Still looking at me.
And what is up, Money Gang? It's your boy, the multitasker, Mighty Avenger, back with another reaction video. And, you know, this is not considered a spoiler. I'm pretty sure that the world already watched it. So, my thoughts of WWE Extreme Rules, it was good. I enjoyed it. My favorite of all was Strowman versus Lashley in a last man standing match. That shit was lit and crazy. But did you notice that during the fight, I'm talking about like outside where they were just trashing at the concession, and of course all the merch for for all the shirts and all that shit. There was also an action at that time that I think that the security was trying to restrain this one fan to try to get into the action. I think that was what was going on. I was like, they were actually wrestling one of the fans trying to get involved in the fight. I mean, like, if it is, all I gotta say is, dude, you gotta be a dumbass to simply just to try to get involved, that you're probably gonna get yourself hurt. For what? Like a 15-second of fame selfie? Get the fuck out of here. You deserve to get thrown out of the stadium. For real. And of course, Brock Lesnar is the Universal Champion again. So, fuck that dude. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, fuck Brock Lesnar. Kiss my ass. Anyways, I got an unfinished business. So this is basically a requested video from Storm Shadow, and he wants me to react, which is the title, Movie Trilogies That Remain Unfinished. Well, I can pretty sure you, I can name other of a movie trilogies that didn't get the third movie that we wanted to see, but maybe maybe I can pretty sure that one of the movie titles are going to be mentioned in this video. So, without further ado, it's time to react.
When it comes to movies, there's sequels, squeakquels, and the almighty threequel, the holy grail of movie follow-ups. When a movie franchise hits a third installment, it begins to feel somewhat legendary, whether that's warranted or not. Among many fans, the simple fact that a franchise might be a trilogy suddenly makes a batch of movies more interesting than they would have been otherwise. But some movies, good or bad, just can't get over the threequel hump, like these poor orphaned franchises, for instance. Director Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy 2: The Golden Army was released in July 2008, 4 years after the modestly successful original. It also wasn't a monster hit, so Universal Pictures never commissioned a third installment. 2 years after Hellboy 2 was released, del Toro told Rotten Tomatoes he was interested in potentially making another Hellboy movie. 2 years after that, star Ron Perlman donned his full Hellboy costume to visit a terminally ill child. That bit of kindness inspired del Toro to push for another film, telling Entertainment Weekly, "I can say publicly that now we are together in trying to do Hellboy 3. But nothing ever happened. Perlman said if Hellboy 3 were to happen, it would need to be twice as big as the previous two installments, which del Toro said would cost around $120 million to produce. No studio was willing to put up that kind of money for a franchise that likely wouldn't crack $500 million. In January 2017, del Toro polled Twitter users on whether they wanted Hellboy 3, got positive feedback, then had a couple meetings about it. But by February, it was all over. Del Toro tweeted that 100% the sequel will not happen, and that is to be the final thing about it.
And that is the real sad and a very shame. I wouldn't want to see Hellboy 3.
Meanwhile, the lousy performance of the 2019 Hellboy film from director Neil Marshall and star David Harbour is a further sign del Toro's trilogy isn't likely to ever finish. In 2015, Sony Pictures suspended plans to continue the Andrew Garfield-led Amazing Spider-Man franchise and instead opted to share the character with Marvel Studios. Tom Holland took over as Spidey in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the rebooted Spider-Man film series. But what were Sony's original plans? Before the release of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014, Sony planned to launch an extended Spider-Man franchise to compete with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was going to include 2 more Amazing Spider-Man films, as well as spin-offs featuring Venom and a group of villains known as the Sinister Six. Sony also hired Lisa Joy Nolan to write a script for a female superhero movie set in their Spider-Man universe, but nothing has come of it. Plans for a Venom film moved forward, though, with an October 2018 release leading to surprisingly robust box office results. But Venom is its own thing, and there don't seem to be any plans to connect it back to Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield version, or the Tom Holland version. Unless some weird multiverse shenanigans go down, we'll never get Amazing Spider-Man 3. What happened on page 47? That question has been plaguing National Treasure fans ever since National Treasure Book of Secrets came out in 2007. The unnamed President of the United States, played by Bruce Greenwood, tells Nicolas Cage's Ben Gates that when Gates reads the President's Book of Secrets, take a look at page 47. Audiences never learned what was on the fateful page, but considering that the book contains answers to mysteries like the JFK assassination and the existence of Area 51, audiences can only imagine what puzzle the president needed Gates' help with solving. Despite negative reviews from critics, Book of Secrets was a financial success, earning almost $460 million worldwide. The success prompted Disney to commission a sequel the following year. With the studio acquiring domain names for National Treasure 3 and 4, rumors began to spread that the Mouse House was eyeing back-to-back sequels. But director John Turteltaub said they were going to take their time and get the story right before moving forward. He told Canoe, "Until we have a great story, a great adventure, and a great piece of history to explore, there's no point in making the movie." In 2013, things were finally moving when Turteltaub told Collider they were about halfway there and that they were planning to start production in 2015. But it still hasn't happened.
Well, let me guess. It's the wrong time. It's the wrong place. I'm wrong again.
It took almost 30 years, but Disney finally released a sequel to the cult hit Tron. Tron Legacy released in 2010 to average critic reviews and modest box office success. The film's writers, Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, had already begun working on a script for a 3rd film before Legacy even released. Ain't It Cool News reported that Disney was gearing up to announce Tron 3, but the announcement never happened. A new writer was brought on board as Horowitz and Kitsis left to work on their ABC fantasy series Once Upon a Time. Rumors swirled that production might ramp up in October 2015, but unfortunately, Disney decided not to move forward with Tron 3. Original Tron star Bruce Boxleitner expressed his interest in continuing the franchise too, after going through several production ups and downs. But Legacy lead Garrett Hedlund believes there's a glimmer of hope. He told comicbook.com, quote, "I haven't been told it's totally dead," which admittedly isn't the strongest vote of confidence.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
He also suggested possibly continuing the series 30 years later like Legacy did. 5 years after 28 Days Later hit theaters, the sequel...
Sorry to mean the pause there, but that was the whole point of why the necessary they wanted to promote of Tron Uprising. And of course, you already get the idea that you if you haven't seen my review of the animated series that I got a chance to watch it, and I had a little talk about it, and it makes a lot of sense why that there was no plans of making of the 2nd season, because the fact that Disney was afraid that this show was becoming a little bit greedy and dark, and it just that wasn't suitable for the viewers. So that's why that little spin-off plan didn't work, and most of the reasons that Tron 3 will never see that light. So it's already in my channel, so you can look it up. So move forward.
28 weeks later arrived, depicting a NATO takeover of the UK, supposedly quelling a zombie infestation. Unfortunately, one person infected with the virus survived and spread it to the remaining survivors. At the end of the movie, some survivors escape England and make it to France. One of those survivors was still a carrier, though, and the movie's cliffhanger showed zombies running rampant in front of the Eiffel Tower. 28 days later, director Danny Boyle indicated plans for a 3rd installment were in the works. Unfortunately, screenwriter Alex Garland believed the rumored 28 Months Later movie wouldn't happen due to copyright issues, saying, "When we made 28 Days Later, the rights were were frozen between a group of people who are no longer talking to each other.
Wow.
Boyle still wants to make a third movie, and he even has some ideas for what it would entail. He has declined to share any of his ideas for fear of them popping up in The Walking Dead, but Boyle and Garland are both up for making the third installment if the rights hurdles can ever be cleared. 20th Century Fox's first Fantastic Four movie starring Ioan Gruffudd, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis as the titular heroes released in 2005 to mixed reviews. However, fan anticipation led Fantastic Four to become a box office success, earning over 3 times its production budget. Director Tim Story and the rest of the cast and crew all returned for the 2007 follow-up, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. That one received mixed to negative reviews and performed slightly worse at the worldwide box office. Those mediocre box office results made Fox hesitant about immediately pursuing a sequel. But there was hope, at least for a little while. All 5 of the main cast members, including Julian McMahon, who played Dr. Doom, signed 3-picture deals. They were also interested in making another movie and diving deeper into the Fantastic Four mythos. Although Story was keen to make 2 more films, Fox put an end to the series. In 2008, Evans, who later famously became Captain America, said the franchise is, quote, a closed book.
Closed book, And all we get was a fucking reboot. That was a complete
Fox attempted to reboot the Fantastic Four in 2015, but the result was a badly received film directed by Josh Trank. These days, rumors are swirling about Marvel's first family appearing in the MCU at some point. Just a few short months prior to Kill Bill hitting theaters, director Quentin Tarantino and Miramax concluded that the 4-hour film would have to be split into 2 releases. Although they aren't his most commercially successful films, the 2-part Grindhouse homage has become a cult hit in the years since. The second film ends pretty definitively with Bill dying and Beatrix and Bibi leaving together. However, Tarantino believes there's always room for more. In 2004, he indicated plans to make a 3rd Kill Bill with Uma Thurman, reprising her role as Beatrix Kiddo. But Tarantino said he would probably wait around 15 years before making another one. Really? Tarantino said the story would potentially focus on, quote, the revenge of 2 killers whose arms and eye were hacked by Uma Thurman in the first stories, or a daughter's revenge story. But nothing ever came of either idea. In 2012, Tarantino finally conceded it probably wouldn't happen. And in February 2018, Thurman called Tarantino out for making her drive a car too fast while filming, ultimately crashing and injuring herself. Don't expect them to work together again anytime soon.
Damn.
You and I have unfinished business.
Baby, you ain't kidding.
Romancing the Stone was the sleeper hit of 1984, thanks in no small part to stars Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner having instant on-screen chemistry. Fox was so impressed, it immediately rushed out a sequel, The Jewel of the Nile. Although Nile did well at the box office, it was reportedly hell to make. Den of Geek reports that neither Turner nor Douglas wanted to do the picture and only agreed after Fox threatened to take them to court for breach of contract. But easy money is easy money, and it wasn't long before Douglas announced that a final chapter, The Crimson Eagle, would soon be released. IGN notes Douglas quit his role in 1997's U-571 to focus on it. In 2008, The Telegraph reported a retitled version called Chasing the Monsoon was preparing to shoot in India, with his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, taking over from Kathleen Turner. It would have been the first proper Hollywood and Bollywood co-production had it not vanished into development hell. By 2011, the talk was about a remake of the original, which in turn was replaced by a TV series that also seems to have now dropped off the radar. Damn. Zack Snyder was the driving force of the DCEU at the start, directing Man of Steel in 2013, followed by Batman vs. Superman in 2016, before teaming up with Joss Whedon for 2017's Half Dark, Half Goofy, all flop Justice League. After 3 critical maulings plus worse than expected box office, DC canceled all remaining plans for Snyder-fronted movies. But according to Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond podcast, Snyder was apparently planning a whole Justice League trilogy. Smith talked to many people involved with the planned trilogy. He claims Part 2 would have introduced the Green Lantern and intergalactic villain Darkseid, who would have defeated the League, arrived on Earth, and killed a significant percentage of its population. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Part 3 would have seen the League regroup and return to Earth, finally defeating Darkseid. Speed was a sleeper hit in 1994. The movie about a bus equipped with a bomb that would go off if it dipped below 50 miles per hour set the box office alight and proved that Keanu Reeves was a bona fide action star. It also seemed to prove that people really wanted to see vehicle-based action movies. Well, that theory proved to have several holes in it after the debut of Speed 2 Cruise Control, a movie about a bomb on perhaps the least exciting, least speedy of all vehicles, a cruise ship. The Keanu-less Speed 2 sank. Speed wasn't originally planned as a trilogy, and despite Speed 2's dismal box office and critical performance, it wasn't long before rumors of Speed 3 began floating around. As late as 2008, Den of Geek reported Reeves was set to return to the franchise, giving it the send-off it deserved. Although a treatment made its way onto the internet, the proposed Speed capstone never made it to production. The young adult book series Percy Jackson and the Olympians is about a teenage boy who discovers he has the powers of a demigod. The movie series Percy Jackson is a cautious morality tale about what happens when a bunch of producers discover they can make serious money ruining books for everyone. The first Percy Jackson movie, The Lightning Thief, did well enough to warrant a sequel, Sea of Monsters. Although the second movie received a mixed critical response, a third installment was still greenlit. Nothing came of that film, titled The Titan's Curse. As early as 2014, star Logan Lerman was saying he thought it was unlikely that the series would ever be completed. Lerman's now in his late 20s, so his Percy Jackson ship has probably sailed for good. After Disney acquired most of Fox's properties in 2019, the rights to the Percy Jackson book series carried over to the company that also owns Marvel, Star Wars, and much, much more. With Disney Plus looking to make a major streaming splash, there's a chance we could see this franchise rebooted as a rollicking TV series. But a third film in this series? Nah. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.
Well, my prediction was there. I mean, like, the fact that it makes sense why we have a shitty Hellboy reboot that nobody wanted to talk about or don't want to see it. Personally, I wish that Guillermo del Toro just give a second chance to revive of the original Hellboy movies. You know, just for the third, and that's it. Just be done. And more the reason why that we got a shitty Fantastic Four, because it was a disappointment. And the funny thing about this, there was supposed to be a spin-off movie that simply focused on Doctor Doom. Of course, that project became a scrap, and that's just a blank history. But I have a feeling that the Marvel Studios is going to plan on doing a new Fantastic Four that's probably going to be even better than the Tim Story films, and that a complete waste that could be more sourceful of the comics that we all know and love. And to the rest of the films, there are some information I didn't even know about, but it makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you do, let's leave it a likes and leave a comments down below. And, oh my goodness. Oh, what a day this has been. I'm going ahead and sign off. Mighty Avenger heading out. But I will catch you all in the next video. So take care, everyone. And most of all, good night.